Welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast, jobs and business news podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. The new conceit of the show. Well, it's not new, but the tagline. I have to keep reiterating it because it is no longer just the jobs podcast, because I cannot just only do news about jobs. I also have to do news about business. That's not just entertainment business, but business in general, because that is the shit that makes me feel smart. Did I have to say shit? Sure didn't. Let's talk about Iran. Oh my gosh. I am qualified. I did work in the news, so I am qualified to do that. If you're watching the video, you saw me so fire off a quick text message. I had to respond. Did I have to? No, I chose to. Welcome back in. It is the typical day we do this. Quite frankly, it's the end of the day, and quite frankly, I did not want to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all you alcoholics out there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm so excited to go to the gym tomorrow morning because it'll mean that the people who go out tonight are, they're not going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be great. It's going to be excellent. And believe it or not, 5 a.m. it does get crowded at that time. I was just talking to some people at the dog park about that. I need to sit up straight. I'm sorry. I started sitting down in a more relaxed manner, and I don't want my posture to be compromised. That's the thing about me. My posture is always good. When I was a mover, when I was working at Bellhops, a moving company based out of Chattanooga, but I was here in Atlanta. I always forget I had that job. I was a mover for a long time, and if you don't think it did mess up my body like that, and then also working out in the same way that working at the UPS factory messed up my shoulder, and it's only recently that I've started doing things to combat that. Anyway, what was I talking about when I was a mover? I don't know, something about that. Oh, when I was a mover, look, all I wanted to do was get there, do the job, and leave. And every single mover was a guy. And every guy I worked with was always messing around. No one ever did anything seriously, so you couldn't finish the job on time. But whenever, you train for 2 weeks or so, or two jobs worth of stuff, a couple of jobs, and then you become a leader. And I quickly rose that rank because I didn't mess around, and I just wanted, again, to get in and get out. But everybody always asked me, was I in the military? Because I'm very robotic when it comes to my booze and what I do. If you've ever seen the movie, it's a new movie. It came out on Netflix, starring Alan Richardson, War Machine. I am the first 30 minutes of that movie, and then that movie takes a turn. I did a 90-minute ride on Peloton on Saturday live with my boy Matt Wilpers. It was a pretty good playlist this time around. Usually his music sucks, even when he asks for people to send in requests. It's usually just all EDM and Morgan Wallen and house music. And then when he plays hip hop, it's the early 2000s, Nelly. That's my problem I have a lot of problems with Peloton, but that's one of my problems is nobody there really listens to hip hop. And then when they listen to rock, it's the same songs you've always heard. And it's not even it's not even good. It's like Queen. Except all the exception of Dennis Morton. Dennis Morton and Hannah Corbin are like they're just in tune to music. They know everything. They listen to it. Anyway, okay, back to it. What was I talking about? Oh, Matt Wilpers. I watched the movie War Machine. It was the entirety of that plus the yoga I did as well. So 2 hours. Anyway, let's get to the news. How long has it been? 6 minutes? Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness gracious. I believe what's about to happen with this episode is that there's going to be a lot of references, or excuse me, not references. The rap is the source I use for a lot of this because that's just what happened. Usually it's variety. All right, here's the first one. This comes from the rap. It's written by Corbin Bullies, or Boyles. I don't know, Bullies. New York Times newsroom hits a record 2,300 journalists. That's right. You a couple of years ago, when now CNN boss Mark Thompson took over, when he left BBC and he took over the New York Times, he helped drive digital subscriptions. You know what? I know I talk a lot of shit about CNN. I talk a lot of shit about leadership, but man, he did turn the New York Times profitable, or he did steer it in that direction. Then he left New York Times for CNN. By the way, we're going to talk about Paramount Warner in a second and David Zaslav, but I have so much contempt for him. Like it's ridiculous. I despise that man. In the same way I despise the head of Tesla and our great president and anybody in that manosphere. The New York Times newsroom boasts a record 2,300 journalists. Publisher A.G. Sulzberger said Thursday, God, what he did with that plane, killing those birds and landing that plane in the Hudson. You know, the ornithological society was so pissed at him. I'm sorry. Oh, boy. Said last Thursday, in his annual State of the Times address to employees. 10 years ago, I'm going to turn myself down because this is so loud. I had an interview yesterday. I interviewed an actor that you'll see later. And I guess my audio was insane because I left whatever the level was. Anyway, I still haven't watched the video. I just downloaded it, so we'll see. They recorded it. Their people recorded it, excuse me. So that's great because I forgot to. And I immediately sent an email. Thanks for the interview, guys. By the way, do you have the recording? Okay. The current Times newsroom is 50% larger than it was a decade ago. That's great. We thought that news was becoming, that digital news subscriptions were becoming a little bit more obsolete. But now that we see companies like CNN turning and Fox News turning to subscription-based news, as well as I think Miss Now is introducing some sort of subscription thing. Anyway, I'm not gonna look. And then also we'll see people like Joanna Stern. She was just hired by. It was announced that she was just hired by the NBC. Let me look that up. Joanna Stern, NBC. I love Joanna Stern. She's so smart. She is so smart. This is from Axios. If you're watching the video, I'm pulling it up, but I'm not linking to this. NBC News partners with Joanna Stern to elevate tech coverage. Comes from Sarah Fisher. There's Joanna Stern. She was previously at Wall Street Journal, and then she left and said, hey, I'm going to do stuff on my own. And the look at the wording on that in particular, because Miss Now has done the same thing with Steve Kornacki. Is it Steve Kornacki? Oh, God, I hope that's right. Steve Kornacki. It's Kornacki, first of all. And I'm right. NBC News. They did the same thing with Steve Kornacki in that they partner with. So that means that they'll be calling on Joanna and Steve, and what Steve already works there, but they'll allow them to do stuff for NBC News, but also allow them to do their own thing. So they can go start a newsletter. They can go post on their platforms as opposed to just using the NBC platform. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this type of journalism when it comes to not just traditional news outlets like NBC and CNN and Fox News and the like. We'll also see, why am I referencing Fox News? I don't watch that shit. But then we'll also see this with the New York Times and Axios, because at some point they're going to have to let people do their own things because they risk losing people in the long term. And that's just how the world is turning at this point. The 2026 numbers signal the Times' strength as it has diversified its revenue streams to include its games and cooking products. Blah blah blah. Okay, it's Wirecutter, The Athletic, whatever. When they closed down the sports section of the New York Times in favor of The Athletic, I thought that was going to signal some sort of, not downturn, but a subscription base that wasn't fruitful. But they've proved me wrong, which is good. However, I still don't know where a lot of those sports reporters have gone to. The Times reported a net income of $129.8, and it's $129.8. It just says dollars. It doesn't have money after that. In its fourth quarter of 2025, with $802.3 million in revenue. I don't know what that 129.8 is. Maybe it's million. Who knows? And I refuse to look it up. Remember that the Washington Post has had a bunch of layoffs as of late, and at some point, there's a lot of other companies that are going to see layoffs as well in terms of news. If we look at it, every single news organization has more or less gone to a freemium or premium type of plan. For CNBC, I'm on. I'm looking at news that's under my news tab in my personal Chrome or Firefox, whatever you use. I believe CNBC has a pro plan, but you can also read all of its stories for free. The pro plan has like pro news. I don't know what that means. Become a pro. Market news and analysis, exclusive access to experts, live stream of market data, on demand library, my portfolio. So you can watch CNBC as well as read all that stuff. Vox went completely premium, and you can't read. Vox is much in the same vein as The Atlantic now, except they do more prescient news. No offense to The Atlantic. I do like The Atlantic, but no offense to them. Where it's sometimes it's like someone I'm going to write an essay. And then they put out an essay. Vox, you cannot read any of their articles for free anymore. The New Yorker and New York Magazine, they've always been, the New Yorker's always been premium. For some of these, I believe, at least for New York Magazine and Axios, you have to sign up for an account in order to read a free account in order to read a lot of the stuff that's posted there. PBS News is still free, but it's mostly video from NewsHour. But there's a lot of written stuff on there as well. IndieWire is free. The trades are free. So that's Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, The Wrap. The Verge went completely, I would say, okay, The Verge went freemium. The Verge is a tech website that was started by Joanna Stern, and I believe the senior editor is Nilay Patel at the moment. He's a smart guy. Did I reach out to ask about their to interview him about their current state of journalism and all that stuff? Because I do like the website, and I think they do have great writers. And did he ignore my message? Yes. Anyway. But The Verge, some of their stuff is free. They have a free to read today section, and their deals stuff is free. They have like these kind of wire-like posts that are just, one sentence stories that link to other resources. Those are free, but they're actually like their reviews and things are paid. I believe there's a tech website called Rtings, Ratings pronounced, I believe, but Rtings, and they're an excellent tech review website because they will take, the latest phone, or they'll take the latest Sonos speaker, and then they'll review every inch of it, all the technological stuff, and then you can compare it against other things, and it's wonderful. But they used to be able to read like 3 free articles per month and then pay, but now they just went completely behind the paywall, which stinks. Let's see. I think this is the shift. This is the shift that we're going to see when it comes to news. And if you want to get more, then you'll get more. And hopefully these companies will be smart and allow you to access the stuff that actually matters, like the real news. No offense to the reviews and stuff, but if I want to read about a president going ahead and attacking a nation, then dadgummit, that news better be free. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This again comes from The Wrap, written by J.D. Knapp. CBS News 24/7 staffers begin bicoastal walkouts with full support from the Writers Guild of America East. Remember, there's 2 sides of the Writers Guild, but they're basically the same. They're the same thing. Writers Guild West, Writers Guild East. Bada bing, bada boom. CBS News 24/7 staffers, I believe, are unionized under a different union when it comes to news. So there might be CBS News and CBS News 24/7. I'm correct. The 60-person unionized staff behind CBS News 24/7. And remember, they have a streaming platform. They're completely separate from CBS News. They have a streaming platform, and they also have a cable channel. That is the streaming platform, more or less. They're in the midst of a 24-hour walkout after the union delivered a strike pledge to management. It's because, and this is a quote from the Union Bargaining Committee and Contract Action Team, management refuses to agree to a new contract with essential work protections and fair wages, i.e. AI. Despite multiple days of good faith negotiations and a strike pledge signed by 95% of our members to emphasize the seriousness of our demands, management continues to offer us worse terms than in our last contract. We chose this field to cover the news, but we believe this work stoppage is necessary to achieve a fair contract. We eagerly await an acceptable contract offer from Paramount, which just shelled out tens of billions of dollars to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery. This is very interesting because as I was reading that statement, my next idea is, we know that the purchase of Warner Brothers assets is going to just shake up the entire industry, not just news, but also movies and television. I don't think we will get another movies like Sinners anymore. I don't think we'll get one battle after another coming from Paramount. I guess Warner Brothers will be dead, but coming from Paramount, I don't know if we're going to get any of those types of movies again. And you can say that we will, but I really, truly do not believe that that's going to happen. Anyway, but also in that same idea, there should be this notion that anybody who is in the news sector in general, there should be this idea that if CNN falls under the purview of Paramount, and then that fat little troll cherub Barry Weiss, you can't see this, she's a woman. Shut the fuck up. God, I'm gonna get canceled one day, or someone's gonna shoot me in the back. But if again that ugly, disgusting, vile human being Barry Weiss, but she's a lesbian, it means she's good. Shut the fuck up. Uh, so seriously, someone's gonna murder me. But if she is in charge of CBS News, and obviously now she's in charge of CBS 24/7, CBS News 24/7. Will they leave Mark Thompson in his role, and then also additionally, who will be in charge? Will CBS News 24/7 cease to exist because there's a cabler that they just purchased in CNN? And that's just two different things that you don't need. There's already been a series of cutbacks at CBS News 24/7. Not even just CBS News in general, which there have been, but there's been a series of cutbacks in CBS News 24/7. Let me see. CBS News 24/7. I mean, if we hired Tony DeCopel, all I'm seeing now is just the 24-hour walkout, and this is too much of an effort for me. Let's go to yes, 8 personalities were let go, but that's across all of CBS News. Okay. Anyway. Blah blah blah. Paramount. Blah blah blah. We're in the middle of that. So there you go. We'll see how that turns out, but I don't think that's going to be anything. Speaking of Paramount and Warner Brothers, this next one comes from Variety. It's written by Todd Spangler. David Zaslav to receive more than $550 million in compensation related to Warner Bros. Paramount merger. No wonder why, at the last possible second, he was essentially begging for the shareholders to look at the Paramount's deal. Regardless of what would have happened, he would have been paid. The thing is, he's being paid more because of this Paramount deal. And the same thing for the shareholders. This is why you can't trust rich people. Not a single one of those shareholders, David Zaslav, none of those people were thinking about the people under them. They just wanted to save their asses. In the same way that one of the promises, and again, I'm going to keep harping on this. One of the promises was that if the deal didn't go through if the DOJ does not sign off on the Paramount Warner Brothers acquisition by Q4 of 2026, then the shareholders will be paid $650 million for each quarter that the deal is not signed. This thing's going to be done by summer. By end of summer, this is all going to be signed through. If Live Nation just paid a paltry amount to the DOJ because of its monopoly on ticket sales, then what the heck do you think is going to happen with this Paramount Warner Brothers thing? And again, David Zaslav is probably going to be a billionaire by the end of this. And look at this face. Look at this pig. Look at this. He looks like a human pig. He looks like one of the pigs from Spirited Away. Why? Like when the parents ate all the food and they turned into pigs, and then the girl has to go into Spirited Away land. I don't know what the fucking place is called. But this is what happened. I can't believe I was siding with Netflix. When Ted Sarandos was at the Oscars and they made a joke and they showed him on camera, I was still raw. $550 million. On Monday, WBD disclosed the estimated amounts of compensation for each of WBD's named executive officers related to the Paramount's $111 billion takeover. Remember, David Ellison did not have the money for this. His very conservative, Trump-friendly father, Larry Ellison, paid for a little bit. And the rest of the money came from Saudi accounts, which is crazy. They're getting the video games, these Saudi princes who want to go out and murder and make sure women have no voice and this and that. Oh, but they have McDonald's. They're just like us. Get out of here. Zaslav is going to get $34.2 million in a cash severance, $517.2 million in equity in the combined company, and $44,195 in continued health coverage reimbursement benefits. That's more $44,195 is more than I made at Bounce TV at EW Scripts. And remember, that's before taxes. And yet people were complaining that their internet bill went up because they had to work from home during COVID. I fucking hated that place. That's crazy. In addition, Zaslav could receive additional payments for tax reimbursements under his agreement. This is the number that I saw. This number I'm about to read to you, combined with the original top number, is crazy insane. And you will understand when I say that this man is going to be a billionaire. I mean it. Tax reimbursements. WBD put an estimate of $335.4 million for Zaslav's tax reimbursement. 335 plus the 550. That's $885 million. Then he was making $52 million with the company per year. Oh my gosh. And he probably still has stocks with the company. It's insane. However, that figure was calculated assuming an effective deal closing on March 11th, 2026. Under IRS rules, the actual amount will, quote, significantly decline with the passage of time. Doesn't mean anything. And then if the closing were to occur in 2027, no tax reimbursement payment would be expected to be made to Zaslav. Oh, and keep this in mind. Last month, in February, he sold $114 million worth of WBD stock. Safe to say he's a billionaire. It's safe. It's safe to say that. Other people making money include J.B. Perrette, CEO and president of Global Streaming and Games. He's going to receive $142 million, including $18 million in cash severance payments and $123.9 million in equity. It's a lot of white guys. Bruce Campbell, the chief revenue and strategy officer, is getting 121.5. CFO Gunnar Weidenfels, 120. Gerhard Zeiler. This is insane. Oh, but this is going to be great because Paramount Plus is going to have HBO Max. This is ridiculous. I think a lot of this started because of Disney buying Fox assets. It probably even started before that. Goodness gracious. All this money is moving hands and it's just is making white guys richer. It's ridiculous. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire and no one gives a shit. All right, this final one comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Katie Kilkenny. Striking Writers Guild staffers picket outside building where a union is negotiating with studios. I believe the negotiations... Oh, I should have moved this story up. It's fine. As I mentioned, CBS News 24/7 staff is striking right now. At the same time, the Writers Guild of America, its staff for the Writers Guild of America, the staff that works at the Writers Guild of America, is picketing the Writers Guild as the Writers Guild tries to negotiate contracts for the Writers Guild union with studios. I believe the contract talks ended today, and then they'll be continuing, or yesterday, and they'll be continuing later this year in the summer at some point. But this is where we are. Now, this is the staff for the Writers Guild of America West. They brought the labor fight to SAG-AFTRA, where the writers union is commencing negotiations with studios and streamers. The Writers Guild Staff Union began picketing on the sidewalk outside the SAG-AFTRA headquarters on Wilshire Boulevard at around noon after getting word that bargaining between the WGA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, the AMPTP, was starting there. They talked about they have signs that talk about the union. They brought out that rat, Scabby the Rat, again. This is what America was built on. Pete Hegseth, during some fucking stupid goddamn press briefing, was like, I guess he was talking about ABC News or CNN. He said, it was like, when Real Patriot News, something along those lines, he's like, when Real Patriot News, like Fox News talks about us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ. News doesn't have to be about patriotism. Okay. In a normal contract negotiations period, many of the protesting staffers would be hard at work supporting the WGA's efforts with the Alliance of Motion AMPTP rather than, I'm sorry, I'm drunk, rather than attempting to disrupt them. But these are not normal times. Member of the Writers Guild, what is it? WGSU, Writers Guild Staff Union, excuse me, are on strike against their employer after alleging unfair labor practices like surveillance, the firing of a union organizer, and bad faith bargaining that the union itself has denied committing. Both sides failed to reach a first contract deal that would resolve the strike prior to Monday, resulting in the head-spinning picket of one of WGA's most important events. Oh, if you're watching the video, I'm bringing up Scabby the Rat. There's Scabby the Rat. There's Scabby. There's supposed to be some sort of solidarity when it comes to the strikes because it feels like, as Kilkenny writes here, there's a stark counterpoint to the United Front that the union maintained just 3 years earlier during the WGA's 148-day strike. It feels like this snake is biting its own tail. That's me. Katie doesn't have the poetry that I have. During the negotiations, the WGSU failed to convince their employer to agree to specific language around wage scales, just cause, due process, seniority, and workloads. The group has since accused the WGA management of failing to bargain in good faith. WGA West management has countered by releasing a list of its own proposals for the union, including a wage scale that starts at $57,000 with annual wage increases. $57,000 is not a lot on the West Coast. On the East Coast is not a lot. In the middle of the country is probably not a lot. Wow, that's not a lot of money with annual wage increases. After offering, a just cause provision last year, the union is currently offering a proposal allowing discipline only for just cause, except in cases involving performance-related issues and misconduct. The union says it, quote, respects the staff union's right to strike and will continue to bargain in good faith. Oh, as far as I know, they're still picketing right now. And, you have to be on their side. In the same way that they were, the staffers were probably out there on the lines fighting for writers and actors. These are the people that are taking care of the writers and making sure that guidelines are being followed. Again, support them. Support people whenever things like this come up. You know what? I've recently driven my thoughts into this notion, in that it doesn't matter if I like you as an actor or a comedian or a singer, if I don't like your movies, if you're somebody I'm not even a fan of, I'm against you. If you deserve to get paid, you have to get paid. I thought about that when I was watching the Oscars, and certain presenters walked on stage. I saw Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and I was just like, look, they have to get paid. You can't shortchange anybody. They deserve it. Scarlett Johansson deserves her money from when they put Black Widow on Disney Plus. Every person writing a song deserves their money. Taylor Swift, whether you like her or not. Why Jack White was misquoted saying that he doesn't like to write songs about me. And then he said something about Taylor Swift. He was talking about he doesn't like writing songs. He doesn't think that he is a good subject. And then Bruno Mars got in trouble because he liked an Instagram post that said Taylor Swift is talentless. And then he has to come out and defend himself. No one's saying she's talentless. She's the most popular pop star in the world. Pop star. If she went back to country, if she made one more country album, oh my God. I was listening to, I love Maren Morris. But man, that album with The Bones, it's a perfect album. I'll say it. And she stands up against the racists in her genre, which is great. Anyway, support the unions. Hey, listen, if you like what you heard here, and I don't know why you wouldn't, it's almost 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go do yoga. I'm on day 76 of 100 days of yoga. I'm doing this by myself, by the way. I'm not doing the yoga. I am doing the yoga by myself, but there's no reason for me to do it. Who cares? If you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. I'll be putting out, do I say it here? Two interviews this week. Two interviews. I'll be putting out 2 interviews. You can see those on youtube.com/cpluscomedy under the interviews. And you can also check out the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and The Constitutionals, the entertainment business news show. All the video versions of those can be found on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can also subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media at cpluscomedy on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.